I'm not exaggerating when I say the new Masters of the Universe movie is the greatest mediocre film ever made. Let me explain what I mean in my full spoiler-free review on the best and worst parts of the film. Now, because I'm under the age of 75 years old, I really knew nothing about the Masters of the Universe as a franchise. I didn't grow up with the toys or anything. Like, I knew of He-Man and Skeletor, but that was pretty much it. And actually, I think this movie does a pretty great job at introducing you into the world. Because if you're like me and you don't know, the movie follows Prince Adam, who is sent from Eternia down to Earth. But while he's away, the evil Skeletor starts ruling over. So we're following Prince Adam, who's now on Earth, and he's trying to get back to Eternia and stop the evil Skeletor. Pretty basic stuff, but I actually think the movie does a really good job at introducing you into the world. Like Eternia, I thought was a really cool fantasy setting. A lot of the different locations and creatures were fun. A lot of different like cool side characters that even have like one line. Now the comedy was very hit or miss for me because I would describe the tone of this movie as a combination of like Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder combined with the Dungeons and Dragons film from a few years ago, because yeah, we're taking nothing serious in this film. Every other line's a joke. We're undercutting all the serious moments. Now, that's not actually a bad thing in this movie's case, because yes, this is inherently a pretty goofy concept. The world and characters, costumes, they know how silly all of it is, but all of this humor, like I said, is very MCU coded, where like every other line is someone being like, oh, well, that was awkward. Oh, that's so stupid that the item's named that. And I'm not gonna lie, even though every other line in this movie is a joke, I didn't find any of them particularly hilarious or bad in any way, shape, or form. That's kind of why I'm describing this as an incredibly mediocre film. Like, all of the jokes are just like, oh, that's mildly entertaining. I feel like I've seen this exact thing before, but nothing was so bad that I'm like cringing. And also, the movie does a good job and not having anything so serious in it, like Thor Love and Thunder, when we're dealing with like kids being kidnapped and the cancer storyline, and then you're throwing in a joke. Luckily, this movie stays away from that, so the lighthearted tone does work better. I just simply don't think the movie was as funny as it is. But with that being said, the one kind of standout is actually, super surprisingly, Jared Leto as Skeletor. He is playing this as just a bumbling idiot, which I'm pretty sure is what the character's always been. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with the franchise, but he is just having a ball. It's a very rare, great Jared Leto performance lately. I also think Nicholas Galitzine did a pretty great job as He-Man in this movie. Like I said, I don't think the writing for the humor is particularly hilarious or bad, but he does a pretty solid job with the line delivery and a lot of this like awkward fish out of water humor that he is handled. So I do think he did a good job. Now, I do think the action scenes that we get are actually pretty fun. There's one particularly towards the end. There's lots of super creative slow-mo camera angles, like anime inspired moments in live action that are all awesome. But I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of expecting a lot more action in this film. Like, the runtime is 2 hours and 20 minutes long. You very easily could have shaved off like an extra 15 minutes off this film and it would have worked way better in my opinion. The side characters are all just kind of fine. Like, Camila Mendes is in this movie, got Allison Brie, Idris Elba, all good actors and actresses. Just disappointing again because of the runtime of this movie. I feel like you easily could have fit in a little bit more depth for some of these side characters instead of them just kind of standing around and just being like these very one-dimensional people that have one or two solid lines. Allison Brie's character is the biggest culprit of this. Like, I really thought she was going to be like a way bigger character in this or have something happen big, and it kind of just never happens. The biggest positive of the movie for me is the Eternia soundtrack by Daniel Pemberton. This main theme goes so incredibly hard. It's nothing revolutionary, but an enjoyable enough blockbuster with some fun moments and some cool action, which is really all most people want to see. So I do recommend going out and seeing it in theaters. I'm going to give it like a solid 6.5 out of 10. If you want to see all my other movie reviews on the channel for recent releases like Backrooms and so much more, click the playlist above my head right now, and thank you for watching.